just sit there and just go into space and just blank out. This is your clinic, okay? If you have a question on your mind, ask it. Because if somebody, I guarantee you somebody else is sitting in here wanting to ask the same question. Okay, I love it when people want to come up to me after my talk and ask me questions. Ask the question in the talk. Because if you have the question, somebody else wants to hear the answer, I promise you. Okay, that's what I emphasize with the athletes. Okay, but we're all adults in here, okay? Don't be shy, okay? There's no bad question, okay? If you don't get it, ask me, okay? I said this morning, I don't profess to know everything about this sport. The day that I think I know everything about the sport is the day I'm done. Okay, because every athlete and coach is different. Okay? I love when people say, hey, do you have the next Missy Franklin? There's no other Missy Franklin, ladies and gentlemen. There's no other Chad Leclos. There's no other Michael Phelps. There's no other Ryan Lochte. Okay? So stop trying to say that, oh, I got the... No! Missy Franklin's Missy Franklin. Okay? And I want the best out of Missy Franklin that she can be. Okay? And that's when her and I both know that she can go a 203 in the 200-meter backstroke. Okay? She's the world record holder at 204.0. Her and I both know to this day that she can go a 203. But I don't compare Missy to other people. Missy's Missy. And so don't get caught in that. Okay? You can use Chad or Missy or whoever as an example. Alright? But don't get in this pigeonhole. Okay? Why don't you maximize the person that's standing in front of you, maximize their potential? That's what it's about. Alright? So as I'm talking and something comes up, please raise your hand and ask the question. Okay? Emotional intelligence. I'm sure some of you just got done with that talk and you probably went on a tea break and you thought to yourself, what the heck did I just listen to that for? I'm going to tell you that because I'm a business guy and I have a degree in finance, I've ran an emotional intelligence conference for my entire team. So if you don't think that's important, okay, you're missing the boat. And you should probably quit coaching. Because nonverbal cues and emotional intelligence will make you a better coach, it'll make you a better parent, it'll make you a better uncle, it'll make you a better aunt, whatever it is. I would argue that nonverbal cues are like 75% of the message that comes across. The number one job that I feel that makes me a better swim coach today was a bartender. Okay, because as a bartender, me reading the nonverbal cues when a customer walks into the bar, me being able to read that person is going to make me more money. That's the reality of it. And truly, that's why bartending and waiting tables makes me a better coach. Because you have to read nonverbal cues way before anybody says anything to you. Coaches are the same way. I'm watching my kids all the time. I watch them on the wall in repeats. I watch them between sets. And I'm talking, but I'm still observing. Okay, because think about it. We're on a hard set, okay, and so-and-so is over here leading lane 2, and you watch them for like 4 repeats in a row, and they come in, and they do this, and then they push off, they come in, and they do this. And so then about the 4th repeat, I walk over and I go, hey, what's wrong with your left shoulder? And they go, what do you mean? Nothing's wrong with my left shoulder. I'm like, oh yeah, right. That's why you come in and rub it every single time you come in on the set. And then they're like, oh, but they have no intentions of telling me that something's hurting, all right? But because their nonverbal cues will tell me every time, that makes me a better coach because then I can identify it and I can nail that with that kid. And so then all of a sudden they're like, oh, man, coach really is paying attention. It happens all the time. It happens every day in every single one of your practices. You might not be aware of it, but you should be aware of it now. Nonverbal cues, ladies and gentlemen. You have a conversation with a parent, you stand there like this. That's, hey man, yeah, let's go. Come on, I'm ready. Okay? Yeah, let's go. Toe to toe. That's not going to be a good thing. Versus this, or this, or hey, let's go have a seat. I'm a tall guy. Almost every single person that meets with me is going to be shorter than me. It's intimidating for somebody. My entire coaching staff told me, that they're scared of me at some points, but coaching by fear is not going to be successful in the long run. Your emotional intelligence is a very important thing as a coach. And I'm going to tell you that right now. Emotional intelligence makes the difference between winning a gold medal and breaking a world record 5 weeks before the Olympics and not even medaling. I know Kate Campbell, I met her at the World Cups, and she's a great gal. But I'm going to tell you right now, the mental training and the emotional intelligence she has needs to be developed. And that's where it hits home. Okay? So you can sit in here and go, that doesn't mean anything to me. Baloney. It has everything to do with what we do. I don't care if you're a swim instructor, you're a parent, you're a coach. It has every single thing to do with what we do. 100% it does. So you got to listen to that. Because I speak around the world, okay, I study public speaking. And I study, people that have been public speakers that when they start talking, people are just like, it's a skill. It's a developed skill. If you listen to me talk to the athletes and coach the athletes, it's not always yelling. Sometimes you turn down your voice because then what they do, because you can tell who's engaged. Because all of a sudden the talking is loud and they're like, what? Now if they're not engaged, they're like, oh, whatever. No. I can tell right away who's engaged in my talk and not. It's the same thing as in here. Okay, I don't stand up here in one spot and I don't do, okay, this is Coach UBC Franklin. That's going to be, you guys are going to walk out here. It doesn't matter what my message is. It doesn't matter how good the message is. If I'm not good at presenting that skill or that whatever that talk is, it's going to be lost on you. Because our minds don't work that way. The more I stimulate you to think about your own experiences and your own lives, because that's what we come to the table with. Nobody's a cyborg of me. Nobody's a clone of me. Okay? Are you kidding me? Do you think the 8 other coaches on my staff bring the same energy that I do? As much as I'd like them to? They don't. And that's okay. Because I don't want everybody to coach the exact same way as I am, because that's not going to be good. Because do I connect with every single athlete that's in my pool? Absolutely not. It doesn't work that way. So my associate head coach has a little different style than I do. Hopefully you can connect with the kids that I don't connect with. Same thing as my staff, all the way down. Everybody brings their own set of experiences and their own swimming experiences and their own life to the table. That's what makes us all good. We need to understand that. That's an important part of this. Okay, right before the talk I was asked, how do you deal with people that come on your team? I used to be our new swimmer coordinator. Okay, luckily I'm not that anymore. People, the first thing they would do is they'd sit down in a meeting with me and they'd be like, I want my kid to swim for you. Well, I don't coach all 225 athletes every day, sorry. I'm not a machine, I can't do that. And no, your athlete probably won't swim with me until they're 14 or 15 years old because I coach the older group. Well, but no buts. The program's set up so that you're successful all the way through. And I know I don't coach our 8 numbers, and I know I don't coach our 10 numbers, but I know that the people I have employed in those groups are pretty darn capable and they're pretty good. And it comes back to that staff meeting and our common language, so that that language is taught from the day one that they walk into our program. So that as they move through, and I want every set of coaches to be a different set of experiences. Because like I said, not every coach connects with every athlete. It's the best thing about this. So I think that's an important part of this, okay? This is, this talk is I think it's titled Relationships. I'm gonna kind of just throw some things at you. Here's 2 of my other favorite quotes. I love quotes, okay? Because I think they're awesome. I think there's really good ones out there. Self-confidence is knowing you can succeed if you work hard enough. Arrogance is thinking and it'll be easy. Tim Elmore is actually a current author right now. He has some really good books. If you Google his name, you can pull up his books. They're awesome. I think that's a pretty poignant statement for today's day and age. And then this one, the old, this has been on our team t-shirt before. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. Good old Aristotle. Seriously? 300 years ago, that guy's coming up with this? Like, that's awesome. That's still prevalent today. The definition of insanity. This is a conversation that I had with my group last week. You know what the definition of insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. True. That's the definition of insanity. How many of you coaches or swimmers or anybody do the exact same thing from season to season and you expect you're going to get different results? Okay? That's what you got to ask yourself. If you think you're going to get different results and do the exact same thing, that's insanity. The way I look at it, I give them the example of this to my athletes. Okay? Think about it this way. A season of swimming is like making cookies. Alright? Day one, we get an ingredient for the cookies. Alright, let's say day one's a cup of flour. Alright, so we put the cup of flour in the bowl. That's day one. Well, if you're not at day one, do you get the cup of flour to put in your bowl? No, you don't. So then at day two, the person that missed day one comes in on day two, right? And they try and make up for that. Well, you truly can't ever make up for a day missed. Okay, so we go through the season, all right, and we put in our ingredients every day, all right? And we get to the end of the season, or what we call the taper meet. The taper meet is like when you put the cookies in the oven. Okay, the cookies finish, we pull the cookies out. There's one of three things. Those are the best cookies we ever tasted in our lives. We just rocked. Dude, we went 6 out of 7 lifetime bests. We were like top 8. We medaled in some things. All right, that's like, yeah, those cookies were good. We have, those cookies were okay. Maybe we went a couple best times, maybe some times that were right there, and maybe a couple times that weren't. Or we try the cookies and we spit them out and we say, that's the nastiest thing I've ever tasted in my life. If you don't like the way the cookies tasted at the end of the season, why are you going to make them the exact same way the next season? That makes no sense. And when you put it to the kids like that, all of a sudden it starts clicking. Because you know what, when we're talking to an 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, crying needs a 21-year-old, when you start talking about 6 months, a year, or how about even a quad, 4 years, holy cow, that's like so much time to them. But we know as we get older, life's like a roll of toilet paper, right? The older we get, man, the faster that thing rolls. It's true. Okay? It's true. All right? So you got to think of that. All right? And you know what? There's going to be some times, like the Colleen Wicksteads that you coach, that I coached from 7 years old, that does everything you ask. I mean, literally, I could have told Colleen, like, hey, you need to go jump in front of that bus and it's going to make you faster. And she'd be like, really, coach? Okay. For 3 seasons in a row, she did every single thing I asked. Never got the results. I'll tell you what, there's nothing more gut-wrenching and heart-wrenching when you sit down for that meeting after that season. And that athlete looks at you and starts crying and says, Coach, I did everything you asked. I did everything. I made 95% of the workouts. I went to every meet you asked me. look at him and I say, you know what, Colleen, I know, but keep doing it, okay? Because I know that it's gonna happen. I just know it. Guess what, another season goes by and she sits down and we have the same cock and I'm going, I don't know, Colleen, I'm sorry, like, just keep doing it, come on, keep doing it. The third season happens and she comes in and says the same thing. That's when I'm going, God dang it, what am I doing wrong? What's missing here? The next season, she went from 0 sectional cuts or our regional meet to 7. Each person comes into it at their own time. As much as sometimes as coaches and as parents, we want them to get it. We can't get it for them. You got to understand that. Those are the athletes that make our jobs really hard. Because they do everything we ask. And then you got Billy, who walks into 2 workouts a freaking week and goes to the championship meet and has made, like, I would say probably the worst cookies ever, and he goes all best times. Oh my word. That's even worse for a coach. Because then you got the athlete doing everything and you got the athlete right next to him that's doing 0. That's life. I give an example to the athletes, man. Everybody in life works with 2 cups. Okay? Okay? What's that say? No. It says coffee. Talent. Okay? Everybody's got a talent cup. What's talent also known as? What do you get to thank your mom and dad for? Your genetics. That's the talent cup, ladies and gentlemen. That's genetics. There's a lot of people that, gosh darn it, waste their whole lives trying to change this cup. It doesn't change. It doesn't. If you don't like the genetics it gave you, you better go sit down with your mom and dad and yell at them. That's what gave it to you. I'm sorry that you're not the tallest. I'm sorry that you don't have long arms. I'm sorry you don't have big feet. Okay? That has nothing to do with what we're doing in the pool. Okay? I'm going to tell you right now. Okay? Missy Franklin, Michael Phelps, Chad McClough. Okay? Their talent cup, man, you like touch it and it's like, blah! There's like stuff pouring out. Okay? My talent cup in swimming maybe is like that. Alright? But here's the best part about this. We don't just go by the talent cup. Okay? We also have this cup. What's that say? Work! That's what I call the work cup. Here's the best part about the work cup. What is it? What can I do to the work cup every day? I can put something in the work cup every single day. How many of you have ever had an athlete beat by a 1/10 of a second or less? Yeah. Oh, guess what? I had Missy missed a bronze medal in the 2 and the 3 by 100 in the Olympics. Yeah, the next night, Nathan Adrian won the gold medal in the 100 free by 1/100th. Not even kidding you, that happened. I turned to Missy and I said, Nathan just got your 1/100th of a second. And she got a big smile on her face and she goes, yeah, he did. I can't tell you how many people waste so much energy and time trying to change this cup. That's the most ludicrous and insane thing I've ever heard in my life. There's no such thing as a stretching machine, ladies and gentlemen. You don't go to bed and you get taller. Okay? You can't change this. Every single person can change the work cup. Here's the best part. When we get to a meet, we get to add these together to equal our results. And so, but here we go. Think about this kid. It's the 10 and under wonder. Okay? Remember we talked about the 10 and under wonder? Man, his talent cup is just like I said, man, you touch it, it's like, oof, someone's at 400, okay? It's the 10 under wonder, man. They're good just because they're taller, they're stronger, they maybe matured before everybody else. Okay, so they just ride talent. But what happens when they're 12, 13, 14 years old? You remember the statistics? Yeah, if they just go by the talent cup and they never even learn about the work cup, they leave our sport and never come back. Work cup will make a difference. Man, it's just a little drop. It's a little drop every day. And here's the best thing. The work cup can be filled. It doesn't have to be from swimming. Okay? If your kid goes and aces a test, doesn't that make them more confident? Doesn't that give them, come on, they stand a little taller? Hey, that goes in the work cup! It doesn't have to be swimming related. Okay? The work cup is so many different things. Believe it or not, coming to South Africa and running this clinic, I get to put some in my work cup. Monday afternoon, like I told you, my kids hate it when I go to these things because I come back and I'm like, yeah, let's do it, yeah! And they're like, oh gosh, coach, come on, please. Like, why do you do this? Because it's just putting something in my work cup to make me better. So we get to work with both these cups, and we add them up to get the results. Missy's talent cup, Michael's talent cup. I know a little bit about Chad. All their talent cups are full, but here's the best part. They put something in the work cup every day. Every single one of them. And that's the reason why they can win medals at the Olympics. Because they understand that they're good, but they're probably not as good as they can be. And you know what? Michael Phelps did something that nobody will ever repeat in the history of swimming. And I put a lot of money on that fact. Won 7 gold medals in the 1 Olympics. 8, sorry. Spitz at 7, okay? That'll never happen. You don't think Chad McClough was sitting at home in 08 and Graham Hill was sitting at home watching what Michael did and watching him kick everybody's butt off every single wall? You don't think they were watching that and you don't think they identified that and they said, okay, we want to beat Michael in 2012 or 2016 or whenever, we better be better underwater. It's the 5th stroke, ladies and gentlemen. So now in today's day and age, something happens, man, it's on YouTube within like probably 24 hours. In 08, it wasn't that prevalent. It was just kind of coming into fruition. You know what? Good for Graham and Chad to identify that and watch it and say, okay, if we want to be that good, we better be better at this. It worked out pretty good. Chad's just got to learn he doesn't poke the bear. If you poke the bear, you keep poking the bear, you're going to get bit sometimes. There's a reason why Michael's the greatest of all time, the GOAT. Because he poked the bear, he's going to respond. So that's what Michael's done almost every single time that somebody pokes the bear. That's a skill. Okay? I tell my athletes all the time, there's a difference between confidence and cockiness. It's a fine line. Okay? You don't want to be known as the guy that's cocky, or the gal. You want to be known as the person that's confident. How many times, how many quotes do you think Chad gets from Michael to put on his bulletin board? Not very many. Most of the time when Michael says something, it's because Chad said something first. I'm just telling you. Okay? It's that fine line. Being confident and cocky. You want to be on this side of the fence, not this side of the fence. Okay? Alright, look at my background. All right. So I started coaching Missy when she was 7 years old in September of 2002. First day I walked into practice to coach the Starfish group, the first thing I noticed is that there's this young lady standing in the back that's about foot taller than everybody else in the group. That was Missy. Like I said this morning though, she didn't appreciate work. She didn't understand how it all went together. There's not very many 10-unders that do. That's our job as coaches and as parents, to make them understand it's a process. All right? We train at about 5,800 or about 1,800 meters every day. Okay, to give you an example, this pool is actually at altitude, ladies and gentlemen. It's about 4,600 feet. Yeah, I live at altitude, so I have my altitude out. Okay, we're at altitude here. United States Swimming says that this is at altitude and they give you an adjustment. I understand South African swimming doesn't do that. Okay? But the reality is if you take somebody from the coast that's at 0 altitude and bring them up here, they got to have more rest, they're going to get broken down faster, and you got to give them more recovery. That's the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Carolyn Joyce trained with me for the 2012 Olympics. She's been at 2 Olympics before that. Okay? It took her 4 months to understand that she's not going to see the same numbers on the clock that she did at Georgia or in California, because we're 6,000 feet. Your body just doesn't do it. But I tell you what, when my kids get on a plane and we go down to low altitude, holy cow. They're like, this is awesome, I can breathe and I can go under waters. Okay, they get that boost. Like I said, she was in my first starfish group. She was almost tall for her age. She had big feet. When you're younger, is that necessarily a good thing? Heck no. Okay? Yeah, people made fun of her. Now that she's a 5-time gold medalist, her big feet are a pretty good asset to have. She loved to race, not to practice. She practiced 3 to 4 times per week, 1 hour workout. This is starfish like we talked about this morning. Okay, I remember what I said. She played another sport. She played some basketball. Volleyball was her main love, though, other than swimming. She played all those other sports until she was 12 years old. Yeah, remember what I said? She broke her first national age group record when she was 12. Yeah, she was still doing multiple sports. What was said in that 4-minute clip that I played this morning is 100% true. Athletes that specialize in one sport when they're younger are more prone to injury. Period. I'm not saying everybody's going to get injured, but they're more prone to injury. She moved into our red group when she was almost 9. This is actually the only group that I did. I was not her primary coach. Like I said earlier, practices are an hour and a half, 6 days per week. She was probably making, I'd say, when she was 9, she was probably making 5 out of the 6. Like I said, she was still playing volleyball. So, Saturday morning she might have a volleyball game, so she wouldn't come to that workout. That's okay. Focus on skill development, stroke development, good basic kicking. Okay, started to become a little better workout swimmer, but still loved to race. All right, and that's good. Okay, and I said, continue to swim. Summer club. Remember when I said summer club? Okay, that's about an 8-week season in our summer. All right, where they swim with all their neighborhood friends, and they get to, she's on the Heritage Green Skaters, and I actually coached against her at the Stonegate Stingrays. All right, but that's a big deal in the United States. Summer club swimming. We have more summer club swimmers than we do year-round swimmers. It's a huge pool of athletes, like probably 500,000. But that's fun. That's fun. She didn't go to their practices. She'd come to our practices, but she still wanted to swim those meets. And it's like 4 dual meets, and then there's prelims by age, and then there's finals. She did that until she was 12 years old. Because that's fun. A fun swimmer, a happy swimmer is a fast swimmer, ladies and gentlemen. Remember that. Okay, remember this is before our black group was split. All right, now we have black group and silver group. Okay, she moved into our black group when she was almost 11. When I say that, her birthday's in May. Okay, we make group movements only twice a year, period. Okay, I think that's important. Okay, because it should not be willy-nilly when you move an athlete. Okay, I think there should be a certain time in the season that you do it, so that everybody on the team, coaches, parents, and athletes understand when that's happening. We move groups beginning of our season, which is in September, or after our short course season, which is the end of March. Only 2 times. Any other time, you're going to stay in the group you're in. workouts. All right, fall of '07, Missy sat down in a goal meeting with me. I'll never forget this goal meeting. 12-year-old young lady sits down in a goal meeting in September with me and says, Coach, I want to make Olympic trials in 7 months. I'd already coached her long enough that I knew it was possible. And I looked at her and I said, all right, it's a good goal. We got to remember that goal now from now on. The next thing I said to her is I said, you know what? I don't know if I would go around telling everybody that's your goal. And she said, why? And I said, because there's going to be a lot of doubters out there. There's going to be a lot of people that say that that's unattainable and that you can't do that. I said, it doesn't matter what they say. I said, it matters what you and I think. A month and a half later, we're at a meet at the University of Denver, which is about 20 minutes from our pool. She dives in and she goes 100 free and makes a national cut. And you notice what it says? I didn't even realize it until her mom told me that she made nationals. Because that wasn't the radar, that wasn't the goal. We just knew the progression we wanted to go. So I wasn't looking at that. So the first day she makes the 100 free. So the next day we're getting ready for warm up, and Mom walks down and says, "Hey Todd, I think Missy made nationals yesterday." I was like, "No, she didn't." She's like, "Yeah, I think here. Look." I'm looking at the time centers and I'm going, "Oh yeah, she did." An hour later, she made the 50 free cut. What do you think Mom's next question to me was? Oh yeah, nationals, by the way, was happening like 3 weeks later, in December. Come on, anybody, what do you think Mom's next question to me was? Come on, somebody, are we going to nationals? Right? Mom, my kid just made nationals, and we're going, right? And I looked at him and I said, no, we're not. He said, look at the plan. That's not on the plan. You know where it's at in there, December nationals. I know that we're maybe ahead of the plan, but what's the plan? Once again, it's one of those things where, as a coach, you got to check your ego at the door. Could I have taken Missy to nationals and she would have been the youngest national swimmer there? Heck yeah. And Coach Todd can walk around all proud, and she probably would have imploded and had a bad performance and not been ready for that. She wasn't emotionally ready for that. She wasn't ready to go to a meet just by herself and me and Mom and Dad. She was not ready for that at 12 years old. It's not an easy thing to decide as a coach. But we had a plan. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, are you kidding me? I've never coached an athlete at this level. I'm 20-something years old. I can look back and go, gosh darn it, Todd. Good for you for sticking to your guns. Because there's a lot of coaches that wouldn't have done that. But remember what this talk is about. Developing athletes and coaching the person, not just the swimmer. What's the best for Missy's development in the long run? Because at that point, we knew that she wanted to go to trials in 08, and we both knew that she wasn't going to make the team, but we knew that if she could make trials in 08, it would set her on the right path for 12 and 16. Yeah, lo and behold, we followed the plan, and yeah, a month later, that's when she broke her first national age group record and went 149 at the 200-yard freestyle in Indianapolis, Indiana. That's another one where I got to put a little footnote. There was 3 records that I had on my radar that she was going to break. The 100 back, the 200 back, and the 100 free. Yeah, the 200 free wasn't even on my radar. Oh yeah, that same meet, Missy DQ'd in the 100 back for a non-continuous turn. Yeah, I lost it because it wasn't a non-continuous turn, but beside the point, okay, but she got DQ'd. And then a day later, she goes 149. Once again, Mom's in the stands right up here, and I'm coaching, and we have about 40 athletes there. It's an age group meet, so we got every age. I'm coaching, and all of a sudden, DA's back here, that's Missy's mom. Todd, and she doesn't bother me. She knows kind of the boundaries. She's been always very good at that. I'm like, finally, I'm like, what DA? She's like, she just broke the national record. I'm like, no, whatever. So she throws the records at me, like from the stands, and then I pick it up, and they go, oh wow, yeah, she did. And that was her first national age group record. That was the only national age group record that we ever celebrated. That doesn't take anything away from any of her other national age group records. Records happen, they just happen, okay? That was why there was never the goal of, hey, let's go break as many national age group records as possible, like there's some swimmers out there like right now. Good for you. You can be the 10 under wonder, you can be the 12 under wonder, you can be the 14 under wonder. All right, let's see if you're here in the long haul. Let's see if you can truly make an Olympic team. Okay? Because national age group records don't mean jack squat if you ain't going to get to the top level. If you look at our national age group records, there's names on there that some of you have never heard of. Those are the 10 under wonders, the 12 under wonders. I want Missy to be that. I don't want any of my athletes to be that. She went on to break more national age group records than any female in the history of the United States swimming. I would say if you asked her, she would probably name that record, and she would name the 3 records that she broke with the okay? I had 3 female relays from 15 to 18 break the national age group records. I'm sure she would say those 3. I don't know if she'd even be able to tell you any of the other national age group records she broke. Because that wasn't what we were going for. In 2008, she was the 2nd youngest qualifier at trials. Up until 3 days before the entry deadline, she was the youngest. Then there was a young lady out of Oregon named Grace Carlson that made the 50 freestyle 3 days before the entry deadline. Grace is, I think, 2 months younger than Missy. So Missy was the 2nd youngest qualifier at 08 trials. Yeah, look at that. The 2nd youngest swimmer in the meet. And she went 3 for 3 lifetime bests. Oh yeah, by the way, this year at our Olympic trials, ladies and gentlemen, just to give you a perspective, less than 20% of the times at our Olympic trials were best times. Less than 20%. You don't think every one of those athletes was gunning for that meet? You're darn right they were. But still only 1 in 5 could go best time. Oh wait, we had rubber suits, right? Yeah, that's when the laser came out. That was before the truly rubber suits of the Jacob and the Blue 70, okay? But the laser was out, all right? Missy, I believe, wore a laser at that meet, okay? She went 3 for 3 lifetime best. She took 39th, 37th, and 41st. Now look at that 3rd event that she swam. 200 IM. She won an NCAA championship in the 200 IM. I would say the 200 IM is probably your 6th or 7th best event. But she's always trained all 4 strokes almost every single day of her entire career. I think that's important for development. Just because she's a world record holder in backstroke doesn't mean she just trains backstroke. You got to train all 4 strokes because that's what makes them athletes. That's what makes them good in the end. At OA trials, because of the rubber suits, we got a really, really skewed number. Look at how much higher that is. 47% went best times. Remember what I just said at our trials in 2012? Or 2016 that just happened or whatever? Less than 20. So the lasers help go fast. There's no doubt in my mind, all right? Remember 09 Worlds when literally almost every other event was a world record? Yeah. Okay, the rubber suits help people swim fast. We looked at that as a great experience for the future and setting her up on the path of success. Like I just said, we haven't celebrated. Okay? We talk about her goals and what she can do. Records will take care of themselves. In a goal talk when you're having with your athlete, you talk about them. That's it. You talk about what they can do. What they can do to be better. You don't compare them to everybody else. You don't compare them to anybody else on your team. You talk about what they can do. And what they can do, because guess what? At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, you can't control what's happening in the lane next to you. You can only control what's happening in your lane. I know what the records are because that's my job. Okay? Missy doesn't know all the records. Okay? And she doesn't want to know them, number one, and she doesn't need to know them. Like I said, records are just part of the process and they take care of themselves. Now, when I say records, I'm not talking about world records. I'm talking about just meet records or national group records, right? Of course, Missy's aware of what the world records are in the events, right? But that's the top standard. I said this morning. She didn't move into our high performance group until she was almost 13 years old. And she had 2 Olympic trial cuts, and the next month she made her third at 200 IM, or the 100 food. Okay? At this time, we were going 8 or 9 workouts per week, including two morning workouts during the school year, usually Tuesday, Thursday mornings. Okay? This year, we do not have morning practice, and that's the only reason that is because I don't have pool time. Right? But I have a young group right now, and I feel that when we need morning pool time, I will find morning pool time when we need it, but I don't feel that my group is ready for that, and they need to come to the workouts that I'm offering. Monday through Friday is usually a 2